Well, hello, church. It's Pastor Jeremy coming to you with another daily devotion. Today we continue our tour of the stained glass windows at the Street United Methodist Church as we finish learning about the life of the apostle called James the Major. And when you look at the window of James the Major in the sanctuary at Court Street, you might notice that he's dressed in some unusual attire. James is wearing this funny sort of a hat. He's wearing a cloak and a staff with a bag tied to the top. He has this scallop shell on his shoulder. There's a reason for James's unusual attire. He is dressed like a pilgrim from the Middle Ages. In the early Middle Ages, there was a legend that the body of James had been brought from Jerusalem to the city of Santiago, which means St. James, in Spain. As this legend grew more and more famous, people from all around Europe decided that they would make a pilgrimage, a holy journey, to the city of Santiago. Now, this journey would be an act of worship, a way of drawing closer to God. It was also safer and easier to visit Santiago than it was to travel to the Holy Land. The people who went on this journey wanted to prove that they'd made it all the way to the finish line. Many of them, when they arrived in Santiago, went a little bit farther to the coast of Spain. There at the beach, they would pick out a scallop shell and take it home as a way of marking their accomplishment. These scallop shells became a symbol of the pilgrimage of Santiago. Savvy merchants in the city started importing them and selling them right there in the town of Santiago. Then pilgrims started bringing scallop shells with them at the start of their journey. They would wear these shells around their necks so people they met along the way would know that they were headed for Santiago. These shells even served a useful purpose. Pilgrims could use them as cups for drinking, and people could use them to scoop stew out of the pots in the little hostels where pilgrims slept on their way to Santiago. Years ago, on a trip to Epworth, the tiny English village where John and Charles Wesley, the founders of Methodism, grew up when they were boys, I learned that the Wesley family crest has 3 scallop shells. This probably means that somewhere along the way, some Wesley family ancestor made the journey from England to Santiago. Over time, people began to see a deeper meaning in the symbol of the scallop shell. People noticed that the lines of the scallop shell begin in many places, but they all finish their journey at the same point, just like pilgrims on their way to Santiago. For this reason, the scallop shell is a beautiful image for God's family, the church. We are a diverse people who come from many places. We are on a journey together, and eventually all of our journeys will end in the same place, in God's house with many mansions, surrounded by the saints. Would you pray with me? God of pilgrims and wanderers, you watch over us as we travel. Guide our feet, that our paths might end in the house not made with hands, but eternal in the heavens. Through Christ, whose sandals were dusty from the road. Amen. Well, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today. You can find a new devotion here each day right at noon. Until we meet again, keep washing your hands, keep wearing your mask, and do not be afraid.